Hello. This is part 2 in a however many part series where I review the very worst episodes of Star Trek. If you'd like to see part 1, it's here or in the description. So today we're going to look at an episode from Voyager, and this series seems to be the most popular after The Next Generation, but it's also generally deemed to be complete and absolute balls. And so I went through all of Voyager's worst episodes to find the very worst one. And you know, it wasn't always easy. I mean, look at this shit. So you see, it's not that great. Oh, for God's sake. And yes, it was in fact Gandhi doing that. Anyway, I think I found the very best worst episode for us to watch together. So let's begin.
So the episode begins with this guy.
Okay, really though, I've never actually watched much of this program, so I don't know the name of this character. But we'll come up with one now. Beef. Ham. Beefum.
Beefum here is performing a flight test of some kind, but things quickly start to go wrong.
My vector's drifting.
Don't you worry, I've got another right here.
I'm reading a fracture in the port nacelle pylon.
Don't you worry, I've got another right here.
Anyway, it all goes wrong, the ship blows up, and we jump cut to him sitting on the floor.
You're dead.
Oh, you could have sugarcoated that a little bit. This then leads to the show's intro cinematic, which I gotta say, this time is pretty... Wait, careful, there's a sun right there. You guys should probably go around... Oh, God!
And there we go, that's it. The episode's over.
We then cut to the officers discussing what went wrong, and oh, good Lord, what is that?
What? I'm a fish head with blonde hair, skin legions, and a human torso. What, you've never seen this before? On my planet, this is normal.
You look like a happy bunch.
We've hit a wall.
Basically, these guys are trying to work out how to make the ship go faster by going all the way up to warp 10.
Now in Star Trek, warp 10 is basically infinite speed. It's so fast, in fact, that...
It means that you would occupy every point in the universe simultaneously.
And does this really sound like a good idea? You know what occupying every known space in the universe simultaneously would look like? Well, I'll show you. Ah! That.
If Voyager achieved warp 10, we could be home in as long as it takes to push a button.
The fish person then gives them some advice in the form of complete and absolute gibberish.
As the ship went through the nebula, it sent out a dark matter bow wave.
Which then inspires the officers to respond with further nonsense.
Create a velocity differential. The fuselage would be traveling at a faster rate of speed than the nacelle.
Set up a depolarization matrix around the fuselage.
They thank Mr. Fishhead, and soon we get to them trying out their new plan, which seems to be going well enough.
He is approaching the threshold.
Engine output at maximum.
It's working! The ship lights are flickering!
Warp 10. Yes.
What kind of reaction was that?
We've reached infinite velocity. We're masters of the universe. All of time and space is now within our grasp.
Oh, yes.
And you know, speaking of how everyone in Star Trek seems to be total experts in science and maths, well, you can be too, thanks to today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. See, Brilliant is the perfect way to interactively learn about and understand the universe. Brilliant.org has thousands of interactive lessons, from science to foundational and advanced maths, where you are always learning by doing. Remember how Beefum said,
Create a velocity differential.
Wouldn't it be great to understand what he's talking about? Thankfully, Brilliant has an amazing section on calculus that coaches you step by step through each concept. The calculus section even naturally works you all the way up to differential equations. Velocity differential. So for me, I've finally been able to learn what calculus is in an engaging way. So to try everything Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/up-is-not-jump. Or click the link in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Anyway, the crew are all very happy that they've reached warp 10, but while talking to the captain, Beefum cuts out.
Lieutenant, can you hear me?
What? No, of course he can't hear you!
He's simultaneously occupying every known point in existence. What do you expect? Actually, any minute now he'll... Oh yeah, here he comes.
The ship eventually returns, and although Beefum seems fine, he suddenly gets very sick. Oh, and you know it's bad because his forehead starts to change.
You see, in Star Trek, foreheads are a great way of telling how somebody is doing. You see, mine Glorious. But others are not so lucky. Sing with me.
Why would anyone evolve a forehead that looks like these? What possible use could they have, except for the Bajorans who are really, really attractive?
It looks like he's having an allergic reaction. What did he ingest?
Just a cup of Neelix's coffee.
It's a miracle he's still alive.
Did you get it? Oh, my patient's dead.
His cellular membranes are deteriorating. He's dying.
Okay, all jokes aside, I love the way this guy talks.
His cellular membranes are deteriorating. He's dying.
Beefham then starts to suffer from what can only be classed as negative Nancy's syndrome.
What I remember most about being a kid are the times I spent in my room crying.
Okay, so I think that this is where things are really going to start to derail. I mean, who talks like this?
I lost my virginity in that room.
Increase dosage to 98 rads per second.
Pepperoni! Kiss me.
All right then, come here.
Pepperoni!
Wait. Ronan? It's you! You came back! Life is a roller coaster!
Anyway, Beefham continues to get even worse.
His lymphatic system is collapsing.
Oh no, hopefully he won't die really painfully.
He then asks to be let out of sickbay, but unfortunately he can't breathe oxygen anymore.
Sorry, Tom. If we let down the force field, you'll suffocate.
Oh, what's the difference?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, what's the difference?
This can't be happening.
What's the difference?
I wore Star Trek cufflinks to my wedding.
What's the difference?
I wear a What Would Picard Do bracelet.
What's the difference?
I must mourn. So the real issue with this episode is there's nothing else happening. This is the only plot going on. So all we have is Mr. Pepperoni saying the most annoying shite I've ever heard in my life.
I'm starving! I don't trust people who don't cry. Do you cry?
So Captain Janeway comes to visit him in sickbay, but things get really gross as we see he's started to mutate even further.
Pretty disgusting, huh?
Ah, I've seen worse.
So the captain chats with Balloon Voldemort for like 5 full minutes of completely miserable dialogue.
The doctor's working on a way to restore your DNA to its
Why?
original. Excuse me.
What I'm becoming will probably be better than who I was.
As the episode goes on, the doctors continue to monitor his situation and try to come up with ways to help him.
In the meantime, I'm going to see about treating him with...
Doctor!
What is it now, Mr. Paris?
Even the doctor's had enough of him. Right, obviously this episode is terrible, but the doctor is an absolute gem. Oh no. I'm gonna watch all of Voyager now, aren't I? Well, I mean, there can't be that many episodes, can there? Fuck.
So Beefham continues to mutate and ends up looking like... well, he doesn't really look like anything. The Doctor decides that the only way to fix these mutations is to put Beefham into the ship's engine. I don't know, this episode is really bad. So they hook him up to the engine, but while performing the treatment, he escapes.
Now, I would show you this daring escape, but all we get is this screen. They must have been running low on budget. Oh my god, this is terrible! If only you could see the extent of how expensive this would be to show you.
Beefham then sneaks up on Captain Janeway and knocks her out. He then puts her in the ship from earlier and goes to warp 10 again, but this time with her there. 3 days then pass, but the crew do eventually manage to track down Beefham and Captain Janeway to this jungle planet, where they find some giant salamanders?
It's them.
It's them.
It's them.
It's them. It's them!
Oh no, and they've made babies. Babies. Tiny human salamander, infinite speed, time travel, backwards evolution, fish babies, why? The babies then start to leave and the crew just let them swim away, not just shoot them on sight like their parents.
Why is this happening? This is Star Trek. It's my favorite show. Why does it do that?
We then cut back to the ship and everyone just happens to be feeling totally fine. Why the fuck not? And Captain Janeway and Beefham, I really wish I hadn't called him that, then chat about their unusual experience.
I've thought about having children. But I must say, I never considered having them with you.
And there it is. Congratulations, Voyager. You're the winners of the worst conversation anyone's ever had award. Oh, and I'm also proud to say you've won second prize for Best Off-Screen Salamander Sex Scene.
Captain, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say, except I don't remember very much about, you know.
What makes you think it was your idea?
Oh, yeah.
You know what, after that line, I don't feel comfortable giving you this award anymore. Clearly, you deserve first place for Best Off-Screen Salamander Sex Scene. I can't believe my wife made all of these.
They then stare lovingly into each other's eyes as the ship floats off into the distance.
Evil Masked Space Wolf, you've come back.
There was an imbalance in the universe. Now it is at peace.
Why do you sound like Mufasa?
It is the voice you gave me.
Okay, could we go psychedelic again?
Of course we can, Simba.
What a tune. I've heard about you. You're Prejufish. You're the Screaming Aquatic. Please go to the next scene.